Where the fuck is Pat? I'm here.
There he is.
Oh, fucking finally.
Hey, Rob, Pat.
Hey, man.
What's up, man?
You're really quiet, Rob.
Is that
Oh, fucking hell.
It's
Vanished like
lit like a Spielberg bedroom.
some kind of sand person. No, he's still well quiet.
He's just
I
going
don't
for
know.
the screen
That's
glare.
why.
Oh, I've got this Spielberg screen glare.
Yeah, you got the lens flare, yeah.
Lens flare, yeah.
Did you watch Super 8?
Oh no, I didn't have
Late.
time.
All that.
That's what I wanted to watch.
Yeah, Pat.
No one wants to watch JJ.
Hey, look, if you want to watch Super 8, pick it yourself.
Yeah, like someone wanted to watch Knight's Tale. It's not going to happen then someone picks it.
All right, fine. I'll pick Puss in Boots.
No, don't do that. Please don't.
I'm just teasing them.
Don't do that.
Yeah, Alex, stop trying to influence people's picks.
No. What do I like?
Oh, fuck.
I shall not be influenced.
I can't believe.
Actually, no. Technically, Dan influenced me, but whatever.
It's not a good
I
idea.
say that, but I've influenced one of Emmanuel's picks as well with Sunshine.
Yeah.
Yes, she did.
Look how that turned out.
And then, yeah, not
Imagine
many
you
people
should
like
pick
that one.
People will love it.
Yeah, that was great. Oh, you should pick Sunshine. Everyone's got to. Oh.
And it ended up just being me, Emmanuel, and John that loved it.
I loved that bit when you messaged me and you were like, "Have I been too harsh on this?" And you given Story a 5. I was like, "No." Giving it a 1. Right. Are we all happy?
Reasonably happy.
That's good.
We're live.
Is Casey in the chat? Is he okay?
I don't know. He was off today, so I have no idea what he's up to.
No, he was alive. I felt it. Oh, I thought I'd get more laughs from you fucking dorks.
So a lot of things are going over my head right now.
You have had to just absorb the cinematic masterpiece that is E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
Oh god,
Yeah.
I thought Rob was going to give us a show for a minute.
Now you've called it a cinematic masterpiece. Here's my arsehole.
Taste of freedom, eh?
Right, we're for live. Shall we start this off? Pat, why'd you pick this fucking film?
Because it's a masterpiece.
No, it's not.
Well, so when I was a kid, I wasn't sort of massively into film. Like, if a film came on the TV, I'd sit down and watch it and whatever. Like, but this film this film has stuck with me since I was like 5 or 6, and I still have like the same sort of emotional feeling towards it now as I had then. So I just thought it'd be a nice one for us all to watch, especially since Alex said he hadn't watched it. So that's perfect. And plus, Spielberg is a master of his craft.
He is indeed.
Yeah.
I just feel like somebody's got a string attached to Alex's back. And they're just...
There's a little cuckoo clock attached to my balls and I can't get it off.
Well, that's a bit silly, isn't it?
You should
I
have
was
put
saying
it
that a
in.
lot through this film. Yeah, there you go. I see.
But yeah, that was sort of my opening statement. Feel free to tell us why you hate ET.
I went on a little bit of a journey with this, and since Emmanuel just got it as it became free on Amazon, I decided to pay for his as well because I paid for it twice.
Wait, you pay? Why did you pay?
Well, actually, this is a good scene setting here because Pat picked it, and then he went to go and look it up on Amazon, and then it went, "This will become free in 5 days."
Oh,
So you literally started watching it the day it became free.
So it went really well for Emmanuel, that's for sure. Even though was it free on Netflix like a month ago too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we picked it just in the nice little sweet spot where it cost money.
oh man, I wasn't even aware because I looked on Google and it said it cost £3.49. I was like, I'm not doing that. I went to Disney Plus, but Disney Plus didn't have it. And then I clicked on Amazon on accident, trying to click on Disney, which obviously don't exist. It don't exist on. And then it came up and it said free. I was like, oh, it's included. Okay.
So this goes to show the lengths of my fucking insanity. I paid £7 for a film that I don't even fucking like
So why did you pay twice?
because I watched it first, like on like the Saturday or something, and then I tried. I confess, I tried to watch it again and fell asleep through most of it, and then assumed I didn't miss anything, and then I thought, no, it's not sitting with me. I will pay for it again. That was yesterday, so I watched it again.
Damn.
And I feel a lot better. I felt like so much better. It was absolutely worth the money because I got to talk it out with Rob before. I know after I watched it, and yeah, I helped. It helped me kind of make sense of it and my feelings toward it because initially, this is my segue. I thought that ET started dying for like no reason at all. It was literally just that, like the script had like a clock, and then it went. We fit 60 minutes down. It's every time we better have the low point. So they just started killing him. I was like, what the fuck? I had my sci-fi brain on, and I was like, is it the atmosphere? Because it should have been affecting him before now. And I was like, was it the food? Because that should have also been affecting him before now. Why is this only just affecting him now? What the fuck? And then he was like, yeah, he was dying, and I was like, oh no. And then the kids started dying, and I was like, oh fuck, that's actually a big problem. And then it was like, oh yeah, it's because they're connected psychically. And I was like, oh fuck, that's really clever. And then they were like, he's not anymore. And I was like, oh. And then he died. And I was like, oh. And then we had a bit of a cry, and then he came back, and then E.T. just lived again. And I was like, this is bollocks. This is absolute fucking crap. Why was he dying the first time? Why is this not affecting him now? This is bullshit. I then watched it again yesterday, and it made more sense to me that the psychic E.T. is surviving or not surviving because of the psychic link he has with Elliot and Elliot's fear of separation. And Elliot making the decision to let him go is integral to his life. So I felt really fucking stupid having to take as many watches as that did, because apparently that's apparently that's pretty hard to fucking miss. But there we go.
I think as well is that like me, Pat, and Rob especially have grown up with this film, so this film's always been in the back of our minds for so long. So the more we've seen it over the years, the more we've understand it, and the things whereas we're kids that go over our heads. We're old adults now, and we look at it now and say, "Oh yeah, this makes sense. This I understand." Whereas Alec and Emmanuel just seen it this week, pretty much, and it's like we have to like take it all in face value, and so it probably is a bit more jarring for you guys, I guess.
I mean, it wasn't jarring for me. What I'd say to Alec, maybe you should buy films digitally from now on, just in case.
That's the
Because
lesson.
the amount you pay was as much as it is to buy.
Yeah,
Oh, I don't want to own it.
But you might as well.
You may as well.
yeah.
I may as well
Yeah.
have, but no, I don't.
And you
want to
might get extras too.
I'd rather just pretend this never happened.
Okay.
I understand it now. That's the main thing. For that, it was worth the price.
Yeah, but Alec, your scores are still not that bad considering how much you say you don't like it.
They're high
Oh,
for
yeah.
Alec.
Yeah.
That was kind of part of why I was finding it so frustrating. I was like, oh god, I hate this. But then I was like, it's not objectively bad though. And I was like, oh, stop it.
That's pretty normal. I mean, look at my scores.
Yeah, I mean your scores are just
Up and down.
5 and 6 exist, man.
But yeah, I didn't find it jarring. I think it was one of those films when I was younger I wasn't interested in it.
2 Robs, what?
Oh yeah, Rob is there twice.
We've been visited by an ET, an extra testicle.
That would be it. 4 Roberts.
One call, 2 Robs.
Yeah.
I don't know why there's 2 of me. There's only 1 of me on my screen.
That's right, I've only got
There is now.
Yeah, there is 1 for us now.
Well, I still have 2, but anyway.
Anyone?
So we have Rob Jones, the host, and Rob Jones _1, the presenter.
The presenter.
But
That's
yeah,
it.
it was, huh?
No, it's all yours.
It wasn't jarring. I thought, oh, now there's 1 Rob for me.
And that's jarring.
But yeah, I thought it was I thought it was really well done. And like I was saying in the chat, as soon as I heard the music, I was just like, oh, did John Williams do this? It must be him.
See, I kept thinking it was Star Wars music. Like it was just
Exactly.
It was just really, really. It was just like a couple of bars off, and I was like, no, hang on, no.
But that's John Williams.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Well, that's an interesting thing, I think, because I don't know if you know, Emmanuel, but this was originally supposed to be a sequel for Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and so Close Encounters of the Third.
Sense.
It does, doesn't it? It works better as a sequel than it does as a standalone film, I think. But yeah, no, it's interesting that you said that about it being similar to the Star Wars score, because Star Wars and Close Encounters of the Third Kind both came out in the same year, and then this came out a year before Return of the Jedi, and there was like a little like rivalry going on between Steven Spielberg and George Lucas for who was going to have like the bigger sci-fi. So yeah, it's interesting that they both got the same composer and he pretty much did the same thing for both of them.
Yeah.
Wait, I swear that happened. Oh, wait, maybe I'm just being dumb. Did that happen again for this? Because you said it happened for Close Encounters and Star Wars.
No, I'm talking like the whole sort of like that period of time. Like, yeah.
Right. I thought you meant they were like, let's have another one. I'll do it. You too.
Let's just keep doing it.
Let's just fucking roll out all the fucking puppets. Let's go. Let's have a puppet.
But yeah, no, I do think if you look at it as the sequel for Close Encounters of the Third Kind, it's a better film because it sort of it goes some way to explaining some of the issues I had with it. Because like one thing that was, it doesn't break anything, but I just thought was like a little bit lazy. It's like how the government reacts to everything, and like you have you have this thing that could be like very dangerous, and it's like from another world, and like. Yeah, it's just like there's so many reasons for them to get more involved than they do. But if you look at it as the sequel to Close Encounters, and you can kind of go, well, aliens have already been to Earth, and like we've communicated with them, and we know they're not hostile, and that kind of thing. So it kind of makes sense that they would sit back a bit. But if you see it as like a standalone film, it's like, well, why are they so lax about this? Why are they letting this go on?
Yeah, run around and all that.
You could say it's a bit of foreshadowing to the current day.
Wait, when did aliens land?
No, just in terms of governments being so lax about everything.
Well, you know, I think it kind of does break stuff when because the government doesn't like react very much to ET, who is definitely a potential biohazard. You know, he should really be wearing his mask. You know, because you know he's from a foreign planet, completely like alien to Earth. You know, like he might not be hostile, but like you know, someone not wearing their mask, they're also not necessarily hostile, but they are still like dangerous. So like considering his very close proximity to children, these guys like locate ET by like kind of like a wiretap like pretty early on. It's when they start building the radar. There's like they show like a van going through and they're like listening into conversations and stuff. And then they let the whole Halloween sequence like just plays out. And then they're like just tailing Michael when he goes to get ET from like the forest and that. And then they come in and they're all like, you know, in astronaut suits and they're all entering the house against the owner's wishes really creepily for no reason. But like they should really when they because like when they locate him through the wiretap, they really should, I think, investigate to see if the alien is there because he is presenting like a biohazard, you know, to those children, like potentially, very likely, actually, he should be wearing a mask.
And as well, like they kind of like half address it. So like whenever they're around ET, like they're all in like biohazard suits, but there's no kind of like beyond that, it's not spoken about. And it's like, well, if you've gone to the effort of putting a biohazard suit on, then I would have liked to have seen you react to the potential threat a bit more.
Yeah, there's no consideration for them.
Yeah.
Like fucking 3 days. They're like, yeah, we're fine. We'll suit up, but fuck you.
They're already exposed, though, ain't it?
Well, yeah, but you know, what if he's radioactive or something? And they're just like, yeah, it's probably fine. Let's see how that plays out. Like every second you spend not reacting to it is every second they're a bit more poisoned by potential radiation or something, or just whatever, like alien shit.
Also, if this was initially thought of as a sequel, the guy who saw or knew about these aliens when he was a kid, or for 10 years, do you think he would have been someone in the film?
He could have easily been one of those men in the actual the Devil's Mountain, all the scientists all gathering up. He could have been one of the kids there, actually, because or the kid of what's her face's character even? I can't remember.
Oh yeah, he was Tony.
Yeah, maybe.
That's very interesting.
I don't know.
Or even one of Richard Dreyfuss's kids.
Yeah, him too.
I knew there's a reason I didn't like this Richard fucking Dreyfuss.
I don't know. I think that's the thing for me. Like I really love it still, and I think what Spielberg is really good at is just like making you feel emotions one way or another, and it does do that. Like it really does. But there's just so many bits where I'm like, it's working out sentimentally, and it's kind of doing everything like emotionally that it wants to do, but I just wish it was trying to be a bit cleverer about things. And I think that's like even in like the production of it, like with the lighting and stuff. Like I was saying, like one example of it is when ET comes out of the shed, and for some reason in the shed there's like a strobe light. It's just like it does look really cool as a scene, but why? I just wish that you'd have thought of a way that you could have had that kind of aesthetic without doing impossible lighting.
Well, it even kind of like interferes with stuff, like when Elliot even like finds him, because like we see in like the opening, like ET is really he's really skittish around like noise, like people walking through like plant life, and lights, like a torch or something. And Elliot finds him by tramping through a cornfield shining a big fucking light. And he's stationary, and then he's like, "Ugh." And I was like, "Did you not fucking hear that? Like, what? He's just in this. He's in a fucking cornfield, and he's just sitting still, and he hears all this happening, and then he's just like, "No, this is fine." And I'm like,
Interestingly enough, when do you think their like telepathic connection sort of came to be? Maybe that was the reason why he went to Elliot, because he could sense him already, and they were both drawn to each other. That's
well,
how.
he really didn't sense him because he reacted with a weird sort of.
Yeah, obviously he's still got but yeah.
Nightmare. I'm sorry, just and I was like, "Whoa, Jesus, man!"
Who knows what we look like in ET's position?
Some big lady sat on a fucking chocolate cake, like just. Oh, fucking ugly motherfucker. Sorry. Sorry, Pat, I've given you a cold. It might have been an alien.
Nah, I've been struggling with it all week. That's why when I'm not talking, I'm muting myself.
Oh,
Sorry, man.
I
I thought Drew Barrymore was it was cool to see her as a kid.
she's like the
Yeah,
highlight.
She's excellent. It's her best film.
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah, it probably is.
It's my favorite.
But you know what? I don't know if it. Sorry, good. Sorry,
I was just gonna say, it's quite funny that you say that about Drew Barrymore, because I think the same about Kristen Stewart when she's in
Panic Room. Yes.
Panic Room. That's her best film as a kid.
To be fair,
I think this is Kristen Stewart's best film because she's not in it.
Same for me.
Like that is like an instant, like just alligators in the shore, and I was like, "Oh, you're annoying as fuck."
I don't like
I
it.
always- I always remember, like, I don't know where I've heard it or like who said it or whatever, but I always remember somebody telling me that the scene where she comes in and she sees ET for the first time and she screams, apparently she didn't, like, apparently that was legitimately the first time that she saw ET and the scream was legitimate. But I was watching it this time and I was like, I'm not sure if I believe that. So I don't know if you guys know if that's true or not.
Yeah, I heard the same thing, but that was ages ago too, so it's impossible to know.
I feel like you'd react by going, "Ugh."
Yeah, like I don't know. It just.
But some people just go over the top screaming and all that, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, I could believe that the reaction would be a scream. I just don't know if it'd be such a perfect scream. Like, because it's literally like, ah!
Yeah, you have to work up to that. Like you have to be, I need to scream.
Because you're right. She keeps it going. It's not like a quick. And that's that. It's not like oh shit, kind of scream. But it's more like a sustained kind of Cartoon Network. What you think of a scream if you saw a cartoon when you're a kid? That's what the sort of scream it is.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry
I feel like.
Is anyone else getting like this really weird effect where, like, just between Emmanuel's fingers, there's like a little shard of light, and it looks like half his face is. It looks like an effect, you know.
He's got the lens flare.
Am I going crazy? He's like just holding.
Oh, I see what you mean. Actually, yeah. It kind of looks like you've got like cling film on your camera or something.
Then you do like an Instagram thing, and like half of it, the top half stays still, and then you can like move the bottom. You know, that was a complete.
Interesting.
Continue.
I was thinking that maybe the first time she saw it, she genuinely was like, it went from very short, and then Spielberg was just like, wait, do that again, but just keep doing it.
Yeah, keep it sustained.
and that might have like inspired him a bit on trying to do the same.
I could believe she screamed when she first saw it, but I don't think it was that scream.
Yeah,
I
not
think
that
she did an
scream.
ugly scream.
It would take 6 to take. Yeah.
It really threw me because like when the scene was coming up, I was like, "Oh, cool! This is the bit where Drew Barrymore like legitimately screamed," and then it happens, and then it keeps happening, and I was like, "I don't think that's what happened."
It's no Aragorn breaking his toes.
Yeah, that was a legendary moment there.
But yeah, I had like a just general. I mean, I know they're kids, but I wasn't. I think this is going to be like something we're just going to struggle with because like you guys obviously have grown up with this, sort of like Stand By Me, I guess. Like you guys would have grown up with this sort of stuff, and like, you know, Elliot's a kid, you're a kid, you kind of you're kind of coming in on his level, so you're not going to necessarily pick it up. But like, because I don't have the nostalgia for this, I'm sort of like, oh god, this is shit. I just hate the acting, and it's like, yeah, he's a kid, but I'm kind of like, the kid who plays Elliot is now an adult, and as an adult, he was in The Haunting of Hill House, which has like 3 fucking excellent child. No, actually, no, sorry, it probably is 5 fucking excellent child actors in it, and I'm like, oh god, you're not great.
You really didn't think
It's in your show when you're an adult are better.
you really didn't think it was good.
I thought he was good.
Yeah, I thought he was a stand-up.
The only thing I'd say in terms of
Good for a child actor.
when I knew about this film as a kid, if I actually had watched like all of it, I would have just been like, I would have just called the authorities and just walked away. I could care less. I probably wouldn't have really got it at all. Just like, okay, cool, you're friends, but why? Like, okay, cool, but I do think how the story was written and built up well in terms of the character development and story and the plot and stuff, and how obviously he could feel and he was crying, and I thought it was really good.
I was okay with it up until, I mean, like I was okay with on the second go. I was cool with him dying because I hated his fate. No, I was cool with him dying. I was not cool with him being resurrected by the power of love. And then, because I was like, oh man, reality's just fucking intervened and just cured death. And I'm like, okay. And then they're like, we're going to do a chase scene now. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. He's probably going to make it. Because reality's fucking cured death. You can't really come back from death, but you've done it now. I guess he's going to elude the police. Like,
To be honest, I don't think it's just that, though. I think it's partly his people being nearby. It's probably some kind of, obviously it's got telekinetic powers, and he can bring stuff pretty much back to life, like the pie maker from Pushing Daisies. Now,
I was like, what are you
like,
talking about?
Yeah, I was like, I don't remember a pie maker.
I said, that sounds like an appliance. That doesn't count.
But yeah, he could bring stuff back. Obviously, have powers and stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if being near his own people with their own powers and shipping technologies could also help bring him back to life. So I think it's like a mix of both of them, which is also why the kid was just like, crap, they're here, aren't they? And it's just like, yeah. He got it. Like, he understood. Oh, you woke up. They're here. They help. All right, let's go. So.
I think my trouble with ET is that like a lot of it's not necessarily like I don't know about defined, but like it doesn't seem clear to me immediately. But then again, I struggle to pick up the fucking character arc, so I guess like
That's not the first time I've done that.
shut the fuck up.
Space Jam.
This is a bit like this is a bit like Close Encounters as well, though. It's like with Close Encounters, there was the whole thing about like how could we communicate if it's just sounds, and then in this, it's like how did ET come back to life just because?
Aliens. That's the answer.
It is incredible timing that his people just happen to be in the vicinity to heal him, just as Elliot says, "I love you." As the casket.
Yeah, but he already had set up the radio
That's
antenna.
lost. Huh?
Yeah, the radio antenna had already been set up.
The radio. Oh yeah, no. I'm just saying. It's on the fucking second. He's like,
Okay.
"I love you," and then his light comes back on, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, well,
Oh,
as a typical Hollywood trope, that. So the ET has not escaped that trope, as many films have been guilty of doing it for years.
no, there's
I do think that like so.
a lot of that going on. Karen.
I do think this is probably like the turning point in like if you lined up Steven Spielberg's filmography, like this is kind of the film where he sort of goes like, oh, I can do the emotional stuff, and then like every film since has just been like really heavy on that. Like I think this is kind of the one where he sort of, I think everything before, like everything's kind of like really well connected and sort of like really polished, and then from ET onwards, it's kind of like big emotions, and it doesn't matter if not everything fits together perfectly.
Yeah. This is the trouble because, like, I don't know. Obviously, I'm going to be a little bit sort of like hair trigger on this because I feel I need to defend myself now. But I don't know if it.
Shocking.
Shut the fuck up. I think
What's a wet?
You look like Pat on a roller coaster. Then.
fuck up. I'll start to kill Pat. I don't feel like I'm in the wrong for approaching a sci-fi film expecting sci-fi elements, but him dying is something to do with physiology on a new planet rather than the power of love. That's all I'm gonna say. I feel like that's possibly. I lied. It's not all I'm gonna say. Gotcha.
It's Spielberg sci-fi though, isn't it? Like it's sort of, it's again, it's a similar thing to Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Like sort of all of the context for the story and kind of the interesting question behind it. That's all sci-fi, but really, what you're looking at is Spielberg just sort of making something that's about something very simple. Because I Closing, I was going to say Third Encounters.
Third Encounters of the Ghost Kind.
Because like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, like it's about aliens coming to Earth and like how we'd react to them and that kind of thing. But really, it's just a film about a family breaking down. And it's the same thing with this. Like, yeah, it's about an alien on Earth, but really, it's just a film about a kid and his dog. Like, it's
yeah, that's the whole thing. It's like I don't know if you've hinted at it before, Rob. It's like the whole idea of this film. Spielberg was like, look, I want to make a science fiction alien movie, but told from the child's perspective. But he channeled like his experience of being a kid growing up in that era, and just being like. The family dynamic of like no dad, just a single mom bringing up 3 kids. That was all Spielberg's own personal history, and wanted to put that in the film to be like E.T. is more like a friend or a brother that you find to get solace from his missing father figure in his life, in a sense.
Yeah, I mean that's like that's the one bit where I wish they'd gone a little bit further with ET. And it's another thing where it's like if you look at it as a sequel to Close Encounters, then it works. But as a standalone film, I wish they'd have explored that a little bit more. So it's like if a kid actually was harboring an alien, what would happen? And they only really like they brush up against it by getting the government involved and all that kind of stuff, but they just don't go far enough. Yeah.
I think it would have been a darker film if they did get the government properly involved from the start and things like that. It probably wouldn't be as the family-friendly movie that E.T. is if they did so.
Yeah, I don't think you had to do too much more with it though, because like I was saying to Alec earlier, I think like the amount of time that they spend on all of the government stuff already is fine, but they're really they really only turn up sort of to move things on a bit. I'd have rather if they had like their own thing going on rather than just like you kind of like make the assumption that they might have a problem with this, and that's as far as it goes. But you don't really get any more than that.
Yeah.
Considering this is like a potential biohazard, they are like they are government scientists, and they are woefully ill-equipped to outwit children. as are the police of the neighborhood, who have must have in their careers ill-encountered children on bikes, and they can't fucking do it. Like, yeah, I feel like they should be like a more active presence in the plot. Like they, you know.
Yeah, like I think you still could have had like a film about just like a kid who sort of finds an alien and basically like takes it in as a pet and like all of that stuff. But yeah, if you just had like a little bit more of a little bit more character in that bit, then I think it would have been quite nice, because then it just make it feel more like its own film rather than because I suppose the issue I have is that I keep thinking of things that I have as issues, and then I think, well, if this is a sequel to Close Encounters, then that's explained and that's fine. But if you want it to be a self-contained thing, then I think you needed to go a little bit further with those things.
Because see, where I wish it went further is I wish it was something physiological, and I wish that the kid did love the alien, but like it's not something that affects it instantly, but it is something that will affect it the longer it's on the planet. And it's like, yeah, I don't think that's impossible to make work. The kid's got separation anxiety. He's made friends with this alien. The alien will eventually like perish, like abruptly, if it's on the planet too long. He's got to kind of learn to let it go, and it's like, yeah, I don't think that's unworkable. Like that's where I wish that went further. But again, like I don't, you know, I'm kind of trying to defend myself here. But I had Close Encounters in my head, and I think I probably did have Shape of Water in my head, where I'm thinking of it is something physiological, is some part of its anatomy, and so just making it like, oh yeah, no, it's a psychic thing. This alien pretty much exists to facilitate Elliot's whole fucking character arc. Like it's like a walking plot device, like you know. I wish it was, because like obviously I'm going to compare it to Shape of Water, because my film and Pat's film and I know Ben's film are all pretty much the same film wearing different dresses.
Yeah. I was thinking that when I was thinking, hang on a sec, I have had my film locked in for like some time, and it's just happened all these films have all come along at the same time.
We all accidentally have picked the same film.
But mine's better.
You bastards have all hijacked my double bill round.
Yeah.
This is a triple bill, motherfucker.
People hijacked. But yeah.
Also, my film's better. You just got nostalgia on your side.
Oh,
Yeah, I said it. But yeah, I wish it was something like I wish it was something more physiological because I was expecting it to be, and so I didn't. My brain didn't even like account for. Oh, it's like a psychic connection. It's Elliot's got to have a character arc. He's got to learn to overcome separation anxiety, and now ET can live. Like it didn't even fucking occur to me that that was going to be the story. I was dead ass like expecting it to be he can't adjust to the atmosphere properly or something, and that's why it felt so weird to me. But I'll stop defending
I
myself.
think I do think it's something that's like, I think whichever way you choose to interpret it, it does feel a little bit cheap, because if you go down that route of like, well, he probably would be sort of vulnerable to kind of like the bacteria and stuff on Earth, and then it's finally caught up with him, and then just in time, his people have come to sort of re-establish that telepathic link. I was going to say psychopathic, telepathic link. um, yeah, if you look at it that way, it's a little bit contrived. But then if you look at it like what you were saying about kind of it being linked to Elliot's emotional maturity and all of that kind of stuff, I think that's a better story. But it's still kind of, I don't know. It's very kind of like schmaltzy, for want of a better word.
That's my big problem with it. Like I'm oversimplifying it and going like it's the power of love, but like it is kind of that.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
especially when you look at kind of how it's edited and stuff, because it's like they show like because this is my whole fucking issue with this. Because when I became aware of why this was all happening on the second watch, I was like, "Oh fuck! I've been fucking bitching about this film for a completely inaccurate criticism for like 4 fucking days now. Wasted everybody's time." But then I was like, no, because they ET is connected to Elliot. When Elliot starts like being aware of the concept that ET is going to leave him, he starts becoming more possessive of him. And the more possessive he gets, the more this negatively affects ET's health. And so Elliot has to learn that he can love ET, but ET's got to fuck off at some point because this isn't where he belongs.
Yeah, he has to know that this isn't his home.
Yeah. So the more distressed Elliot becomes that ET's going to die, the more it's killing ET. And so their psychic link, like it's like they separate. I'm pretty sure they show them separate with like the little monitor thing. So they show them separate, and then Elliot has his character arc fulfilled, and he goes, "I'll always love you, ET," and he like accepts that he's dead. And then ET goes, "Hey!" And I'm like, "You're not connected anymore, motherfucker. Why do you get? Why does this mean you come back alive?" Like you showed that they weren't. I may be misremembering, but I'm pretty sure they showed them not being connected anymore. Feel free to correct me. But I'm like, if the connection's already severed, why does it make a difference what Elliot then has like as an epiphany? He should be dead.
Pat, you look deep in thought, man.
PK.
Yeah, I'm sort of processing what you're saying. Like I get what you're saying. Don't know. I'd say like where he was a bit possessive of ET, and then the sort of the link had been severed. I think that's probably what sort of helped him recover, rather than anything else. I don't know. It's an interesting theory.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like what you both alluded to. It is like Elliot. Once you knew that ET was almost gone and dead, then it was severed, and then the connection they had, and Elliot knew that okay, he's gone. He's gone like my father has gone before. Well, not in the same way, but he's left his life, and therefore he needs to accept and move on and live his life without him. So that in turn made it so E.T. would come back to life stronger than ever. I mean, it's a roundabout way of looking at it. I suppose.
As a Force ghost.
Yes.
Just when he starts saying B, I kept thinking of Hans Mole Man. I was saying B.
I was saying E.T. It's like kissing a peanut.
But yeah, that was kind of where I was. I think we've lost Emmanuel.
Yeah, I was like, fuck this.
That was where my kind of disconnect was happening. I was like, if Elliot's going to start having this big character arc, then this should still not affect you because you are dead. And then he's like, I'm not actually dead. And I was like, fuck off.
Oh,
He's like, "We only have a brilliant car chase." And I was like, fuck off, you're dead.
I mean, to be honest, when you see that there's half an hour left of a film and one of the main characters has died, you assume something's going to happen because, like, what are they going to do for the rest of the movie? Especially with a family one.
If it was the Game of Thrones writers, they'd say, well, let's have a big fight and
I
make
was
a complete
gonna
mess of it.
Tell that to Boromir, I guess.
Yeah, that's not a family film.
Well, my family watched it, therefore. Maybe not.
And how old is the youngest person?
Yeah, do you need some counseling?
I would like some counseling. Can't afford it.
Ask the NHS.
Nah, it's alright.
I was scarred from watching last season of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, everybody was.
Anyway, but yeah, carry on.
I do have one more fucking a big. Sorry, actually, no. I have two big more issues that I want to discuss. But
bloody hell.
yeah, two. I'll do the less. No, I don't know which one's less. I'll do the shorter one. The shorter one is the police in the chase scene. Obviously, I know that ET is just circumvented death. So I don't really. I think the police are going to be no problem. But the police are like fucking garbage. And there is a bit where they park they're chasing the kids on the bikes, and they park at the bottom of this fucking series of hills that these kids are coming down on bikes on. And the guy, the guy driving the police car, like just parks up like that's gonna fucking stop him. And he's like, "Yep, we've blocked off the road." And then his partner gets out of the car to climb up the ravine, and I'm like, "Bro, you're gonna fucking get your neck broken." And then they all come over the hill, and he goes, "Whoa!" and he ducks to avoid getting his neck broken. And I was like, "What were you trying to do? What, like?" If you're going to stand there, there's no way they're going to fucking stop if they've not stopped already. They're going to fucking just drive around you. I was like, why are you coming up from a fucking concealed bit of ground when they're going at fucking 30 miles an hour at least? Like, you're going to fucking get killed, mate. Like, what are you doing?
Maybe Spielberg was trying to imitate dumb people.
What a fucking...
Hey, you didn't give Jules that benefit of the doubt.
Jaws went too far.
I think this guy went too far. He was far too passionate about like these kids shouldn't be riding their bikes, and I will die on this literal hill.
I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention enough, to be honest.
I will let these kids fucking drive their bikes into my neck to make them stop. And they'll all go, "Ah, fuck! I killed that poor policeman." That's
That
my
would have been real dark.
yeah.
They're kids. I don't think they would have cared.
My vision. Oh fucking hell!
Oh.
I thought they might have.
Nah.
I was about to say my vision of ET is a lot darker than I think you guys are prepared for. And then you come out with that. Fuck me.
To be fair, I think I've worked in retail for so long that I just think kids are wankers.
My other one, speaking of kids are wankers, the frog scene. My God, what are we doing? What's going on here? We're establishing that ET and Elliot have a psychic link. So ET's getting drunk. So Elliot's getting drunk.
Drunk E.T.
Film. This is my whole problem. ET's watching The Quiet Man, and there's the bit where John Wayne pulls the lady in from the fucking blustery winds outside and snogs her. And so Elliot pulls in the cute blonde kid through the door, goes to kiss her, can't reach her, so the fat kid runs across the room, puts himself on the floor, and allows Elliot to climb on his back to snog her. I was like, what are you doing?
That's a proper wingman.
I fucking like him. He's like, don't kill the frogs, and he's like, no, I want to fucking kill my frog, you cunt. And he's like, I want to kill this frog, but I will allow you to climb on my back. I'll get on the floor. Don't you worry. I will climb. You can climb on my back, just so you
can walk all over me.
And the teacher's got no fucking reaction time. Elliot gets like fucking 10 frogs free, and the kid's like, and the teacher's going,
Yeah, the teacher's like, no, don't do anything.
Don't do that. It's like Willy Wonka, and the kid he hates is like getting himself trapped in the TV, and he's like, no, stop, wait, don't do that.
Stop, it's terrible.
Maybe the teacher didn't really care.
The teacher definitely did care, because he was going, I can fix this. I can fix this. I can fix. And there's the kid, and she's covered in like 20 frogs. And then he takes him to the principal's office.
Maybe he just wants to go home.
Well, he's in a bad place then, because he's now got fucking 30 frogs to deal with.
Yeah.
But he's he is non-reactive as fuck. The scene is bizarre. I don't know if you've grown up with it and you haven't thought about it for like most of your life. I can kind of get that. But just as like someone coming in and going, what the fuck is this? Nonsense. E.T.'s influencing not only Elliot, but the blonde kid, the fat kid, the teacher, the frogs, presumably. Like, what the fuck is this?
Artistic license.
Your mum's artistic license.
It's disbelief.
Speaking of artistic license, again to compare this to Shape of Water, I do think that like there are that these scenes that I'm describing, they're sort of like the shutting yourself in your bathroom and there's a seal around your door and you've just flooded your whole bathroom because you want to have creepy underwater sex with your merman fucking parrot person. Like, I think that they kind of fall in the same territory where like it is an isolated scene of fucking weirdness that doesn't really bear on the plot that much, but there are a lot of them. There are more than I generally you know. Right, sorry, I'm gonna let someone else talk.
I actually think that scene has more bearing on the story than the Shape of Water one.
Oh, good. This will 6. No, don't do that.
Well, it does in a way because it establishes the E.T. and Elliot's like connection. in a literal sense. Like, it is like, maybe you could say it's so obviously done. It's kind of like there's not much subtlety in how whatever Elliot or whatever ET does goes into what Elliot's experiencing, kind of vice versa. But I can see why they put it in there, and it is a very like old-fashioned sentimental type of scene that Spielberg was known for. And what he loved in films of the 1940s and 50s as well. They did all sorts of crazy stuff like that. So it kind of works in his repertoire, you could say.
Yeah, I think I'm more like... Sorry, I said I'll stop talking. I think I'm more like, we don't hear from this girl again. We don't see this teacher again. Like these scenes are referred to like very mildly. Like, obviously the psychic link thing is a big bugbear of mine, but yeah, these feel like isolated, weird. Honestly, this film is just it's weird for me. I had real fucking trouble scoring this.
It's the same problem you have with Gremlins as well, is that we don't see it like you do. It's just, to us, it's just like this like wholesome, like it has nostalgia too, but it's just how much heart and like invention and how a story like this has so much like merit and soul and cleverness in it. That's why we love it. It's just got a lot of stuff that, like most science fiction films, have a lot of things that it's quite cold and there's not much like emotional connection. But E.T., in one way or one, has this emotional connection that many sci-fi films don't have, and that's probably the reason why me, Pat, and Rob love it so much.
Yeah, if anyone watching ever needs an example of how much difference 2 years can make, like, I don't fucking get this film whatsoever. I'm 2 years younger than everyone fucking here. Like, and there is a massive divide on fucking P, the extra testicle.
I don't know.
It was more years than that.
So,
I don't know. I think I get it. It's like, I guess it's not my type of film, and that hasn't changed. But like, I get it, or I think I do anyway. It's just that kind of whole. All right, let's see a story of a good innocent child who's not just trying to like take everything apart that he sees or doesn't understand, and actually try to get to understand it and get close to it and see what it actually thinks and feels, unlike all these other messed up adults. And let's see how the story goes. And he makes a wonderful friend who ends up having to leave him, but is always there in his head. So they will always share that psychic link forever and ever.
Just like schizophrenic hallucinations, they're always there in your head.
Oh man.
Just like... I didn't mean to make him leave.
EP went home.
Or Pat. I think
Where's the manual gone?
I killed him by accident. I think that is worth mentioning. My family think this film is fucking shit, and I'm like, no. There is a definite. There is a story here. There is a very nice movie about a kid hanging out with an alien, and he's got like a dysfunctional family, and they all come together over like, I'm phrasing this hard. They all kind of bond over this alien coming into their lives. That's better. I think there's a nice film there. The thing where he dies and then comes back to life, and then he comes back in a robe, and I was like, oh my god, it is Jared Leto. that was the bit that turned me off, and I think the government presence is a problem, and I think there's a lot of bizarre scenes and stuff. But like, I do genuinely think it like works as a film. I don't think it is a. I just don't like it.
That's fine.
Yeah, I think that's where it's coming, and like I wish it was cleverer in places. I'm used to my sci-fi, and I'm used to my world building, and I immediately, when he was dying, I immediately went to scientific stuff rather than it's an emotional thing. I will now stop talking. I've talked too much.
Too late.
Stop me.
Did you say too late?
Yeah.
I've muted myself, and I instinctively went, "No, I'm not talking now." But that's okay. I'll mute you. You guys talk about it. You love this.
Did you not get an emotional tug at the heartstrings when he was dying? That sort of
No.
got me going.
Yeah.
Got you going.
I was more confused than anything. I was like, "Where the fuck has this come from? Why does he look like it's a chocolate snowball now? Like, what's happened?" He's gone from being fine to just death. I was like, "Hang on, what happened now?"
Today there was a bit like I don't know. I almost don't want to tell you guys because I deliberately tried to forget it. And then while I was watching it this time, I remembered it, and then I spent the rest of the film going like, "Oh no!" So apparently, E.T.'s face was modelled after a cross between Albert Einstein and a pug, and there was just like there was a moment where I remembered, and I spent the rest of the film going, "Oh no, I really see it."
That's not a bad
I
thing.
can just
don't
imagine
think
you. I just got the image now of you remembering it and laughing for the rest of the film.
Well, it was like it was about halfway through. I was literally just sat there, and like two images just popped into my head of Albert Einstein and a pug. And as soon as they popped into my head, I was just sat there for the rest of the film going like, "Oh no!" It really is.
Honestly, if ET was Frank, I'd have a lot more fucking time for him. It's a fucking national treasure. I don't care.
You know what's so interesting is that E.T. is so like there's so many people love him to bits, and so many people can't stand him. Kind of like Gizmo and Gremlins as well. Some people are absolutely terrified of him, and other people are finding him adorable. It's interesting creation in E.T.
Yeah, I love E.T.
See, Eb was a big fan. Oh, Eb is a big fan of Gizmo. She really, really likes Gizmo. And then we watched Gremlins 2, and she was like, "Why does this film hate Gizmo?" What is this film's fucking problem with Gizmo? Stop it.
Gremlins 2 is like Gremlins really confused me because I realised when we were watching it that most of my memories of Gremlins were Gremlins 2. And I watched Gremlins 2 and I was like, "Oh."
I didn't see like I kind of have to lump in like Gremlins and Back to the Future. They're different. Is it the same director?
No. So it's the same production house.
Yeah, it's Spielberg. It's all over.
Produced both of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because like it's not something like as weird as Gremlins, where he's like, "There might just be a gremlin under your bed," and I was like, "People died."
Yeah, there might be.
I don't know if that was ET, but like, yeah.
I think because ET wasn't causing terror. That's the main thing.
Yeah, that's a big feather in your cap there. Don't cause terror. Just look ugly. You have an elongated neck. Like that's okay.
They are all very similar films in that, like, it's just sort of you've got like this central concept which could be quite well. If it was to actually happen, it would be a huge deal. But they're kind of treated quite lightly. And yeah, I think it works for the films. But it's like I was saying earlier. Like there's just like that period in Steven Spielberg's career where I think he just kind of realized how good he was at the emotional stuff, and then nothing else mattered for him. And yeah, you can see that, like, especially in ET, but you can see it in Gremlins and all of the other films that he produced in that time as well, I think. And even if you look at the directors that he like got behind, and like sort of like people like Joe Dante and Robert Zemeckis and Chris Columbus, like all of their films are like it as well.
It's brilliant but lazy.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing, like, because I mean, the stuff that I'm saying about like how I wish he'd sort of gone a bit further here and sort of like been a bit cleverer about this thing and that thing and all of that. Like, I mean, it's quite easy just to say like, yeah, but that's not the film that ET's trying to be, and it's like, yeah, that's true, and like it's successful at what it is trying to be. It's just like it'd go for me. It'd go from like a film that I really love to a film that I think is like brilliant if he did those other little bits.
Yeah. That's. I feel bad. I feel like Emmanuel wants to go to bed.
He is in bed.
Yeah. I mean, he's already in bed, but he looks very Christ-like. I didn't know if you wanted to. Are you okay? Do you?
I'm in pain and falling asleep.
Oh.
Oh,
You want to have like a parting statement, and then we can free you from your misery?
yeah.
Even though I was reluctant to watch it, at least I've seen a classic, and I can see why it's a classic. I mean, not that I doubt it, anyone. Classics are classics for a reason. But yeah, I can say I've seen it now.
This is a very pat pick for a classic, because it holds the record for the longest theatre run in history. It was in cinemas for over a year.
Wow.
What?
That's how
Yeah.
it was such a success. No wonder. Fucking hell.
Man, that's something else.
I might have to go looking for that statistic for my next few picks then.
I mean, if you want another one that took a long time, actually don't pick this film. Even though I like
Wait, what is it?
Skyfall. Remember how long
Oh, Sky.
it was?
On me.
It did really well.
That'd be.
I think it broke a few British records as well.
It would be really, really funny if Emmanuel's trying to get like, yeah, you guys pick some films. It's like, no, that's fine.
I wonder who's going to be the next James Bond. Anyway.
I don't.
It's gonna be me.
Do you know the book his favourite at the minute is Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's just because he's the hot guy of the month because of Peaky Blinders. I think that's the only
Yeah.
Camilla does not agree.
You don't
like
want
him,
to
but-
the fucking MI6, mate.
I like Cillian Murphy, but he wouldn't make a good Bond.
He'd make a good Q. I don't think he'd make a good Bond.
I think he'd make a really good villain.
Yeah, or a villain. Q
Yeah.
or a villain.
Yeah.
That's your choices.
Yeah, villain.
Even an M, I feel like he'd be decent at.
M is already sewn up for the minute.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'd still make a good one. I do like the idea of Ray Fiennes being M though, and he's just kind of going like, if someone calls me an inanimate fucking object, I'm gonna.
I like the idea of Michael Fassbender.
Ooh,
Too easy.
that would be interesting. It would be quite a different take. He would do a good job, though.
Yeah, he would.
I'm going to butcher this. I am so sorry. I don't have the first fucking clue how to pronounce this guy's name.
Ron Perlman.
Say it.
Get Michael Fassbender.
I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, but I think it might. I'm gonna just chuck a fucking dart and just assume it's Ron. Oh no, it's the guy from 12 Years a Slave. It's something like Cheetah Ejiofor.
Well, Ejiofor.
Yeah, that guy. He's a fucking great actor. I love him. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce his name. Thank you for doing it for me. I think he'd be a good Bond.
Yeah,
I think
he'd be good.
Get that guy.
I don't know.
Is he British?
You watched a film with him in
Which film?
The Martian.
I mean, was that?
Who did play?
He wasn't the Martian.
He's the guy. He's like the tech dude. He's trying to get him back. He's working with Sean Bean.
He's one of the scientists on Earth.
I'm gonna have to look up this guy.
He's in the new Doctor Strange.
Yeah, he was in the first Doctor Strange.
He's in the old Doctor Strange.
Oh, is he?
That's Mordo, right? Is that his name?
Yeah, he's like the supporting guy.
Baron Mordo.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you mean the oh, that guy.
I think he'd be a fucking great one.
Maybe in a British TV version.
A British TV version of Bond? Get out of here.
He's cool and all, but that's like nah. If Idris Elba wasn't like getting older, I would still be saying I would like to see him play the
This
part.
guy could act fucking circles around it. I don't give a fuck.
Idris has some presence.
Idris has some presence, yes.
He
can act.
He can make a meme and a great thing out of what was the thing? We will stop the apocalypse.
Oh, no. Don't bring that up.
Today we are cancelling the apocalypse.
Yes, there we go.
There you go. Who can do that? He can take some crap script and make people enjoy it.
Oh,
Hey,
I don't agree with that.
Hey,
If in the morning the news come up that Idris Elba was the new Bond, I'd be so happy.
why?
Because I'm a big Idris Elba fan.
I love the Idris Elba film. I love that James Bond sounds like he's fallen asleep again.
Idris Elba was on he was hosting the World Cup draw today, and you could see he was reading like a teleprompter, and there was a bit where like that they must have had 2018 written as the number because he really stumbled over it, and he was like back in 2000 and 2018. I was like, oh, you didn't know which one to go for, so you said both.
Oh man, that's funny.
Like my big liking for him as an actor come from Luther and The Wire.
Hmm.
Two essentials for a bath.
Huh?
He's just Idris.
A bath.
A bath.
I feel like it, like be your PE teacher, and you might like your PE teacher, but yeah.
Saying this, who I would like to see as a villain, Benedict Cumberbatch in the James Bond film. Oh man, he would
I thought
do
these
great.
are really easy choices.
Huh?
I thought these are really easy choices.
What do you mean easy choices?
Like,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I feel like you want to get. It's like casting Peter Capaldi as the Doctor. You're like, yeah, I can see that. Like,
It's because it's like Benedict Cumberbatch does villains so well. It's like if he did a Bond villain, it'd be like his 12th villain in 10 years.
yeah.
Yeah, when he was when he was Khan. Oh man, that was freaking great.
That sucked. That sucked horribly.
You're not a Star Trek fan, so shush.
No. I'm not, but that film was
Exactly.
shit.
No. Seriously, me and someone from work were talking the other day, and she was geeking out over, to be honest, that Simon Pegg, is it Simon Pegg?
Yeah.
Sorry, E.T., the extra
He
testicle.
did such a great job on as well, like in his involvement in it, in terms of writing and stuff, and not just everything, like the way they played on the Wrath of Khan. Genius.
Only if you've seen The Wrath of Khan, not if you're watching the film you're watching. You know, it'd be a good Bond villain, Andrew Garfield. Everyone fucking loves him right now. Like, he's always like this really, like, you're like, oh no, Andrew Garfield's crying. Everyone but me. But, like, you're like, oh no, Andrew Garfield.
Don't get me wrong,
Great.
he could do it, but
Let
I
him
wouldn't
do a
want
Bond
to
villain.
see him as it.
Hmm?
He could do it, but I wouldn't want to see him as it.
No, I mean, I wouldn't want to watch him do anything. But
That's rude.
yeah. He'd be a great Bond villain. I hate it when they just go, "Oh, get the guy who's really good at doing evil people to be an evil person." I'm like, no, fucking mix it up. Like, get him.
Nah, he'd be a better side character.
Maybe.
Yeah, I suppose. I can see that too. I hope Andrew Garfield does like more roles that are like more challenging.
Yeah.
He is doing it at the moment, but he could even go further, I think.
Fuck, man. Get Oscar Isaac in more things. Get Stellan Skarsgård in more things. Get Domhnall Gleeson in more things. Like, they are fucking excellent actors. They don't get enough stuff to do.
To be fair, like they'd have to want to do it.
Yeah. Obviously, don't.
I mean, like they're not going to be like Nick Cage doing 20
roles
films
they
a
don't
year.
want to do. Sorry.
I mean, like they do like maybe one, maybe two films a year. It's not like Nicolas Cage where you're like, the month has changed. Nicolas Cage has got another film out.
He's got another castle to finance.
Actually, I'd love to see Nicolas Cage as a Bond villain. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, do it. I don't even fucking like Nicolas Cage. Let's do it.
To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Robot Chicken did a parody and offered Nicolas Cage, and he was just like, "Yeah, I'm up for that."
Yeah, he would do that. He certainly would.
They'd be like, "Hey Nick, we'll give you $20 to be in Bond." Done.
Well, shit, man. Like Hugh Grant, like he'd be great.
Hugh Grant has had a renaissance recently, though, working with
Guy
Ritchie. Yeah.
Yeah, like The Gentleman. He's fucking excellent in that. He'd be a brilliant Bond villain.
I can't wait for his new film.
Oh yeah, what's it called?
What is it called?
Operation something.
Operation Mincemeat, isn't it?
No, that's the other one. I'm getting it mixed up because the two Operation films come out the same bloody month.
Ed, you look really grumpy there.
This is the other one that happens. That's all.
I can't believe they've done this.
What did they do?
When a film comes out in the cinema with a similar name to something else, it just drives me mad.
Those Fast Furious names must be destroying you then.
Oh yeah, but at least it's one franchise that messes its own name up, rather than like it doesn't sound like two other different things that are unrelated.
I just thought of other people who would be really good for Bond villains. I feel like Rebecca Ferguson would be a really cool Bond villain. You know, the lady who played Jenny Lind. I think she'd be really
got
good.
a name right today.
Yeah, there's a hotel named after her in Rebecca. Rebecca Ferguson, I think, would be a really, really good Bond villain. Like, I think she's been in Mission Impossible. Like, she does like a cool little sort of. Oh man, I don't even fucking like her, but Jennifer Lawrence, I feel like she'd be okay.
Oh, that would be interesting.
I'd watch her in anything. To be fair,
Like I don't think she's that good an actress, but like I feel like she'd do a decent
right? Alec is banned.
something. Robert Pattinson, he'd be good.
I'd quite like to see Asa Butterfield do a role like that.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know what you'd have seen him in.
The kid from
Let me
In.
have a old girl.
Oh, is he in Let Me In?
Yeah, he's the kid. He's the kid playing Oscar.
Oh, right.
No, Pat, you know that one. That's not the right one in the remake.
He doesn't seem convinced.
Who else should be?
What film did you say he was in?
The right one in remake that you love.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a really good fucking actor. Oh, who's his mum in Sex Education? Gillian Anderson. Gillian Anderson would be a excellent villain.
I really like Gillian Anderson, but she played Thatcher, and I can't forgive her.
She's a fucking good actress, though. I don't care. I'll fight everybody. Each and every
She's a dickhead.
No. Well, Thatcher.
What'd she do to you, Pat?
Thatcher,
it was something to do with a Comic Con in London. I can't remember how she pissed me off, but I just remember I'm pissed off at her.
Sorry, Ben. What's your film?
Yes. I mean, for me to know.
You've long stopped.
Sorry, E.T. You got supplanted by Bond.
Yes.
Yeah.
My film is E.T. 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Whoa!
No, it's called Poltergeist.
No, yes. I was thinking of changing it, but no, my film is my pick is The Iron Giant. It's the film I've been probably one of the most underrated animated films of all time, and one that I've loved ever since I was 9 years old. So I don't know where it's playing, and I don't know where it's streaming, but
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
for free.
Oh,
You beat me.
I thought it was on Disney Plus.
Cool. It's on Netflix.
You thought wrong.
I do my post right now.
You know what? That delivery tells me that you'd be a great Bond. I had a feeling that I could kill you with my gun. You thought wrong.
I've been expecting you,
Mr. Cat.
Mr. Bond. Sorry.
Sorry, I thought you were Idris Elba.
You're a fucking mug.
I thought you were Idris Elba, but you're a fucking mug.
Cool.
Cool.
Next
I'm
time, just
Justin.
double check. Don't be like me and accidentally pick something that doesn't stream anywhere.
No, that would be very tragic.
No,
And don't be
definitely
like
on
me
Netflix.
and pay for the same film twice.
When you
Just
could own
buy
it.
it, Alec. Alex, just buy it.
Yeah. Bye.
Oh, I will buy the Iron Giant. It's really good.
There's no point because it's free,
I won't buy E ET.
which is now free. To be honest, when I saw when I saw the Prime thing, I was gonna suggest that Ben jumped to this week, but I was like, fuck it, everyone's
Fuck it, Alec will buy it twice.
yeah, fuck it.
Too late.
Emmanuel looks so peaceful.
Don't let Eb see this.
Mhm.
You're like Jared Leto.
What?
Oh, forget Jared Leto.
No, Emmanuel's more wholesome than Jared Leto, for sure.
More wholesome than Jared Leto? Get out of here.
He's not wholesome at all.
What does that mean?
Oh, yeah, that was the thing. I was yeah.
Anyway. Alright, see y'all. Take care.
See you on
See you in a
Sunday.
bit, man.
Bye,
Yeah.
See
Jared.
you later.
Have a good night.
Hey, wow.